Marcellus, I'll start with you. Will the Browns crumble under the spotlight?
No, not at all. It's amazing that this team wasn't hyped up, and last year went out there and won 7 ball games, a couple plays away from winning and having a winning season. So this was
spoken like a man that never won a Super Bowl. But,
yeah. Spoken like a man that never raised his hand and said, that's my primary goal. But y'all don't want to know about me. A lot of sorry players won Super Bowls. They wasn't all pro, though. Here's the thing. This was substance built. This was substance based. And this was a situation.
7 games?
The Cleveland Browns, let's stay in context now. They built up to 7 games off of substance with an offensive coordinator who was thrown into the mix mid-season, and you saw a different Baker Mayfield. Even though he was having a good season, it went to a damn good season. You saw this team respond. You saw this team even in their one primetime moment last year on Thursday night when Baker Mayfield made a name for himself. To the tune of, I had to come in here Whitlock, about Baker Mayfield's going to be more to Cleveland than LeBron James. Wow. Okay, if that's not substance built, then what was it? Sizzle? No. So now all of a sudden they get hype. And this is funny. Me in the locker room, I never cared about the hyped up team. I never hunted the team that everyone was talking about. I was just hunting the teams that I knew were damn good. Like the Chiefs, like the Patriots, like the Rams. You know, Cowboys, like teams that are good are the ones that get your blood boiling because you know you got to bring your best to even be in competition with them. But the teams that everyone's talking about, we all know most of those are sizzle. This is not a sizzle team. This team wasn't talked about last year and built themselves up into a conversation. Now they're on the next tier. Let's respect that.
Well, the one thing I'll say, Marcellus, because you talked about wanting to hunt the teams that you know are going to be good, one of the things that you have to be concerned with a young football team is them taking opponents for granted. And I know it's crazy to say that because we're talking about the Cleveland Browns, a team 2 seasons ago that went winless. But, I mean, this young team, this is an impressive collection of young talent, but there's still a learning curve that comes along with dealing with these types of expectations. And we don't know how Freddie Kitchens is going to respond in his first year as the head coach of the Browns. Now, I know Freddie. He was on the staff with the Dallas Cowboys during the Parcells years. I know that he's going to be able to establish a good rapport with the players. But again, it's different when you're the head coach and you're not just focusing on one side of the ball. We don't know how Freddie Kitchens is going to do from a game management standpoint when he's the head guy. We don't know. Yeah. Those are still legitimate questions coming into this season.
However, let's not get absurd with the expectations. Let's not exaggerate what they are. Vegas is saying this team can win 9 games. They won 7 last year, so they're supposed to be better. Yes, and I think they are going to be better. But to think that this is a Super Bowl winning team, this is not a contender for that.
No.
They're just going to get a lot of attention in their process.
Yeah, OBJ, when he shows up, the spotlight comes with him.
Mm-hmm.
And spotlight in New York is one thing. You can spread that around. Eli's got Super Bowls. Everybody in Cleveland, they have nothing really on their resume. Jarvis Landry's done well, relatively well.
Oh, yeah.
Myles Garrett has shown some flashes.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of day in, day out, living under the spotlight of expectations and the attention, just look, man, NFL players, when OBJ and Jarvis Landry show up and put on the little pregame show and all that, and you got 4 primetime games, they're going to get everybody's A game. Baker Mayfield, I call him Little Smokey. He talks about it. He loves the smoke and the attention.
I love it.
They are going to get people's A games consistently. And when you start talking about a first-time head coach dealing with OBJ, there's some potential issues.
I'm with you, Whitlock. I'm a little bit skeptical of this Cleveland Browns team. Again, I like the talent on paper, but how is Freddie Kitchens going to manage all those big personalities? Now, I know that OBJ made some headlines in New York the last couple of seasons for all the wrong reasons, but I think that OBJ's source of contention with that organization was because they didn't do a lot of high-level winning. The Giants had 50 losses over the course of the last 5 seasons. So a guy that's a top competitor and arguably the best at his position and a guy that depends on the quarterback in order to do his job, I can understand how he would get frustrated with the Giants and with Eli Manning. But in looking at this experiment that is the Browns in 2019, I think that John Dorsey has given himself every opportunity to try to get this right. Because he traded for OBJ, and guess what? They've got Adam Henry, his position coach from the Giants and from LSU, as their wide receivers coach there, along with his former teammate at LSU and Jarvis Landry. They went out and they hired Steve Wilks, a former defensive coordinator, but a head coach as well with the Arizona Cardinals. He's got that experience. That's something Freddie Kitchens can lean on. That's something tangible. So we don't know how it's all going to work out, but I think that they position themselves to give themselves the best chance for it to have a positive result.
Marcellus, you don't have any concerns about Freddie Kitchens?
No, look, you know me. I'm a track and field lover. That's my primary and favorite sport. And I tell you what happened with the 4-minute mile barrier that no one broke for thousands of years, and then finally one person breaks it and dozens break it within the next month. What happens is once you see somebody accomplish something, you feel encouraged by that. If I'm Freddie Kitchens, I'm encouraged by Sean McVay and his young success. I'm encouraged by Matt Nagy going out there winning 12 wins in his first year as a head coach. So sometimes I don't need to have that experience myself. I can look somewhere else and say, hey, I've seen young talent at the coaching position win and young talent on the field win. Let's rewind, because I was on the field when Tom Brady first stepped on the scene, and we saw a Drew Bledsoe go down. And this is not TB12. This is Tom Brady, 6th-round draft choice, who won a Super Bowl, injected into a team. And I'm not saying this team is winning the Super Bowl, but there was tremendous success from a guy that no one had expected it from. Now, this is a guy who has more expectations and, let's say, more initial talent in Baker Mayfield. Why wouldn't we wait and see if that blossoms?
Well, I think in New England, what came to be revealed is that Bill Belichick's the greatest coach.
But not at that time.
No,
he was coming off of 5 of 7 losing seasons.
That's what came to be revealed.
Right?
And so, again, I think Baker Mayfield is a talent and showed himself to be a talent. Tom Brady showed. But it's the coach, again, that will be the key driver in terms of bringing this all together. And I just think Matt Nagy, I don't think there were great expectations when he got there. Sean McVay, he's got to jump over Jeff Fisher's very low 8-8 bar. Not great expectations. Freddie Kitchens won't have the ability to catch anybody by surprise because the Browns are, without having done anything, never have won a Super Bowl, haven't been to the playoffs since 2002. They're Mark and Donnie Wahlberg, man. They are the new kids on the block. They put out, it's like their first album, New Kids on the Block, and now here they are, their second album's coming out, Hanging Tough, which sold more than anything else. That's the expectations in Cleveland. You about to jump over this bar, you're going to the next level. And I just think Pittsburgh, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, 2 of the most tenured coaches, probably second and third behind Bill Belichick, they're going to have something to say about it.
If they can split those 4 games between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, this team should go 4-2 in the division. And then you look at their toughest games outside of the division, you're talking about the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Patriots. So, I mean, on paper,
that's 3 L's.
You can say that's 3 L's, and you can throw in another ugly L, whether it's the Denver Broncos or somebody along those lines. But guess what? That still puts the Browns in a situation where they can win 9 or 10 ball games.
And Chris, don't fall victim to that. We've all been there before when the season and the schedule's revealed. Brain to paper is never correct. Like whatever you think there's going to be some hard wins and there's going to be some tough losses.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that based on what they have from a schedule standpoint, it's doable. And another thing that they've got going for them is they're getting the right messaging from their head coach. Because shortly after the OBJ trade, Freddie Kitchens came out and said, you know what? We got a great roster on paper, but that doesn't mean anything. We got to dig the foundation, and that begins with the start of the off-season strength and conditioning program, the extra mini camp that they're going to get because they have a new head coach. So all of those things are opportunities for this young team to improve. And we know with young teams, you're going to practice them. They got to develop that chemistry and that rapport. But I feel like this Cleveland Browns team has an opportunity to take a next step from the 7-8-1 season they had last year.